long term, I think this is a blimp. I think personally that you guys are going to see. This is my personal opinion. I don't know. I wouldn't want you guys to hang your hat on this, but I think this is a blimp. I think there's other things that will probably sustain a lower interest rate market. Maybe 2 or 3 months from now, I think we'll have a very strong summer. So I would say prep for that. And I don't think rates are going to go anywhere anytime soon. So definitely. Continue the momentum. They'll get discouraged with rates going up, and keep that buyer interested. The other thing I was going to tell you is that make sure that the buyers that you have are reconnecting with their lenders again, because when you guys send us a client, we generally qualify them for the max loan amount, because generally they're not like, oh, qualifying for $800,000. They're always asking us to go, what is my maximum? And maximum generally means to us getting it to the highest debt to income ratio. Well, now with interest rates increasing, that debt to income ratio is going to pass that threshold. So you really want to reconnect with that lender, or us, whoever it may be, and make sure that, that person, you're not sending them, if they were sending them $1 million homes, it might be now 950, or it might be 975, or it might be 900. So just reconnect with us or the lenders that you're currently working with, just so you're not wasting your time with the properties. So that's all I had today.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, rates, if they do go up, right, that is the one thing that to me is going to affect prices the most in the value of homes. That at that point, they will flatten out or start to go down in certain areas if rates go up. So keep your eye on that. And it's another selling point of how to get people on our home seller call next week, because, hey, rates are great right now. Prices are at an all-time high. If you've ever considered selling, through this year, it might be something to consider, especially now that COVID is, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of people have realized that, maybe the house that I'm in right now is not the house I want to be in for the next 10 years. I have a patio, but I want a yard, and I'm okay with living outside of, the downtown area. So there's a lot of opportunity for listings, but we have to educate people and make sure that they know that, hey, we're there to help them, to protect their wealth, to walk them through step by step on what that process looks like, right? Ken, congratulations. We have a check here for you. Dimitri, we have a check here for you. I like that. Let's keep it going. Good job, guys. So yeah, home seller seminar, just that should be your focus between now and next Thursday. So you have 8 days or so to focus on that. Just every day, talk to people about that. I guarantee if you talk to everyone in your database about that seminar, I would be shocked. Most of you have 300 people. I would be so shocked if you didn't get 1 or 2 referrals for someone who they know that's thinking of selling a house in the next 6 months or so. I would be really shocked. So definitely set some time block it, and start making calls or texts or whatever you have to do to let people know about the seminar, let them know where we are in the market right now. So since we're talking about sellers and we know that it's the way to control the market in your business is through having listings, right? We talked about how to get listings, the 3 different sources of listings, right? Do you remember what they were? Anybody want to say one of them?
Influence.
Who was first? Dimitri, what?
Yeah, can you repeat the question?
The three main sources of listings.
Oh, sphere of influence.
Okay.
Expires.
No, sphere of influence for sure.
Farm.
Farm is another top way. What's the last one?
Networking.
Networking with the right people. So the influencers, the probate attorneys, the wealth builder, the wealth planners, the CPAs, the people who have the opportunity to give you referrals. So it's your own relationships, right? So that could be anyone, buyers, sellers, renters, whatever, homeowners, renters, doesn't matter. The very specific people, sorry, I'm getting some feedback, I don't know why. The very specific people like probate attorneys and so on, and then farming. So you need to pick one of those areas and really, really focus on that to get listings. When you have a listing, let's do a few role plays on kind of what that process looks like. And I would love to get all of your feedback on what else you do during those times. and this is just kind of the order that I do things in, but I would love to hear your feedback as well, and we'll just kind of go through it. So does someone want to volunteer to be the home seller for the first section?
I wanted to volunteer as an agent trying to procure a seller.
Okay, so procure by at what point? So this is today we're doing role play of you're knocking on the door and we're actually trying to get the listing. We're there, right?
Can we door knock right now?
No, we can do that though after. This is like you already have a listing appointment, but that's good. We should do that too. And having calls and practice that part too. But this part right now, we're just gonna do this real quick. Goes away. Is that better? Yeah, okay, somebody has given feedback from. So we're just gonna do the actual listing presentations. So Natalie, you said yes, I saw your hand.
I mean,
Okay.
sure.
Okay, so we're just gonna do the first part, right? And we're gonna go through these, kind of generic, but I want you to see the just the layout of it, right? The order and so on. And we're recording this, so we're gonna put it on our YouTube page, just our private office, page where you can see that later if you want to. And then, we can, what I really want to get out of this is encourage you guys to meet with me one-on-one, where we could go to one of my vacant listings. I'll be the seller and I'll use all the scripts that I hear from my sellers, and you be the agent and walk through the whole listing presentation. So I would love to set that one-on-one time up with all of you guys. So, Dimitri, if you want to do that, anyone, please call me. I would love to do that. But we're just going to go through like a general layout of it right now first and talk about each section. So the first section I call Rapport and Tour. So it's building rapport and touring the house. So I'm going to knock. And Natalie, you can let me in if you want.
What did you say? I didn't.
Hi, Natalie. I'm here for our listing appointment.
Hi.
Hi. Good to see you. I can't believe I haven't seen you in, gosh, more than a year. How have you been?
I'm good. Looks like you have a beard now.
I do. It's gotten thicker. I trimmed it a little bit. It was, it was a COVID beard and my hair was down to my neck and so on. Like, when was the last time you got a haircut? Your hair looks good. Like, you're groomed perfectly.
We do what we can.
Yeah, I know it's been a rough year, but here we are. We're making it. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and yeah, it was a challenging year. I mean, how was your business? How did everything work out for you?
It was okay. Just worked from home and realized that it's too small and looking to find something, bigger and more accommodating to the family.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're a lender, a million realtors. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to come in here and see your home and have that opportunity to possibly list it. So that's what I specialize in, what I love to do. And we'd love to talk to you about that today. Do you mind giving me a tour of your home?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So let's go for a walk.
I know. I'm all, wait, no, not literally, but yes.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. We can pretend for sure. So, yeah, so tell me about your kitchen.
It needs some updating actually, but it's great. It's fine. A little bit on the smaller side.
Okay. How do you think it compares to some of the kitchens like in the neighborhood? Or it's okay if you don't.
No, maybe it's on the smaller side.
A little bit smaller?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it looks really good. I love that you have the double sink. That's really nice. Your cabinets look beautiful. Actually, I love your backsplash. That tile is just really, really nice.
Original.
Yeah, so cool. Just really fitting for the area. But that style, I really like it. That pink, those pink tiles are really nice. Cool. How old are your appliances?
Well, some are newer and then some are older. So like the oven is older, the microwave and fridge are brand new.
Okay. Yeah, you have a great kitchen.
Yeah.
Really nice. All right, let's go into the master bath. You want to tell me a little bit about your bathroom? It looks nice.
Yeah, completely renovated just a few years ago.
Yeah.
You know, pretty. Most people love it.
Yeah, you have great taste. I really like it. I like the colors, and the shower looks really nice. Your
My
vanity looks
partner, Kara's like, what is going on?
Oh, you're selling the house.
She's looking at me and she's like, what?
You're moving, honey. You're moving on up. Number one movement agent has to move up at some point. Don't worry, Kara. I'll take real good care of you
Standing behind
guys.
the computer, she's like, what? Oh, okay. Kara wants she wants a downtown view plus reservoir view.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Okay. There's like 6 houses in Silver Lake that have
I'm gonna do some door knocking for you then.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, your bathroom looks really nice, and let's go into your bedroom. Do you mind if we open up the closets and take a look inside?
Oh my God.
No. You can just tell me how big.
You can.
I've seen messes. Don't worry, I'm not going to judge. Your house actually looks really, really clean compared to some houses I've been in. I just want to see the layout to see what potential there is for buyers. Closets is a really big deal for a lot of buyers. So if I could just kind of get a feel for that, that'll help. So
yeah.
Okay, looks good. Anything in the bedroom that you want to point out to me?
No, it's simple, and it's a nice large bedroom. The reservoir views from the bedroom and 2 big windows, and
yeah, it's really gorgeous, really, really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else in the house you want to talk to me about? Like any other repairs, anything done to the roof or plumbing, electrical, anything that I could, sell to buyers?
Just that, no, we need a new roof, to be quite honest, but the backyard is completely redone, big decks and a backyard kitchen. So that's kind of a great spot of the house. Everything else is new, like new plumbing, new electrical happened about, I think it was like 7 years ago. It was just before we bought it. So
yeah. Okay, yeah, people will really love your yard for sure. And your roof, okay, that'll definitely come up. We might have to address that later. But yeah, that looks really great. Anything else that I should disclose to buyers that you might know of, besides the roof? Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, no, your house looks really great. Your house looks great. So remind me again, why you're selling?
Because COVID really brought up the need for a larger space.
Yeah, a lot of people are telling me that. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you have a great yard, but hey, this will be a larger space for a lot of people. There's, a lot of people who are in condos looking for a home. This home might be a perfect fit for them because they have that yard, they have that view. So I could definitely see a lot of people coming in here. I could probably see, a lot of move-up buyers from condos to homes, and possibly some first-time buyers, especially in your area. We get a lot of calls from people on the East Coast who are moving to LA, and this could be the first starter home, for them. And you've done a great job. I mean, it looks beautiful. It's a really great home. So thank you so much for having me, come over and giving me a tour of it. So let's talk some more details now. Okay, so So first section, right, is building rapport, touring the home, complimenting as much as possible, not pointing out things that are wrong. I didn't say anything that I didn't like. Okay, if you do that, this what's in the seller's mind, and like Natalie, as coming from like a seller too, let me know any feedback or thoughts you have. In the seller's mind, they want to know that you can sell their house and that you believe in their house. If you're like, okay, well, that pink tile, it's kind of dated, I don't know, how many people will like that, it might be an issue. You don't want to say too many little detailed things like that. Big ticket items, the roof, yeah, you want to be realistic and address that, but little things I would not talk about at this moment. Those things can be talked about after you sign a listing agreement, okay? Right now, we're just building rapport and getting them to like you, reconnect, making sure they know that you know what type of buyer could buy their home, and that you're able to sell it, that you believe in the product. That is the main thing, that you really believe in the product, that you're able to sell it. Okay, so it's just positive, 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 looking through the house, being nice, keeping it simple, whatever you're thinking in the back of your head, like, I can't believe she picked that vanity, that is the ugliest color purple that she painted the bathroom with. Don't talk about any of that stuff right now. Just be positive and move on, and get the client to like you and trust you, that you're going to be able to sell the property. Does that make sense? Comments, questions on the first section? Okay, so we know her motivation, right? We've seen the property now. We've done our research and have looked at all of the comps in the area and know exactly in our mind at this point what the property price range could be. So the next part is a little harder to, no, the next part is going to be, you have to sell yourself first, right? And then we're going to go into reviewing comps. So the next part is just reminding her that you can trust me. So the first part was getting to like me. You know, we go through the house, we connect on any rapport issues that we can. Then the next part is trust. So we'll go to the next part. Natalie, you want to keep going?
Sure.
All right. So yeah, I guess Natalie, let's sit down in your living room. And again, thank you for having me. It's, I know you, like I said, you know, so many realtors, and just having me over here is just really honored to be here. You have a really great house. You know, I'm just going to sell myself for a minute because, you know, I want to make sure that you trust me. So I hope that's okay. Then we'll get into pricing of the home and so on. But this area I do know very well. You know, I've seen many of the houses that have sold in this area over the last year. I've actually been inside of them and have seen them. So I have a really good understanding of what the price of your home and what that value is going to be. You know, I've been in the business now for almost 20 years, and this is what I do. I was Realtor of the Year, like whatever, any other awards that you guys want to say or can do. I always say awards, even if they're 10 years old, it doesn't matter, like bring them up for whatever it is. So I will always say, you know, I was selected out of 11,000 agents as Realtor of the Year from our association. And, you know, there was a reason why they chose me for that. So, most importantly though, Natalie, I want to make sure that you know that I'm here to protect your wealth. That is the mission of our company, is that we are here to help you create and protect your wealth. And selling this home, I know, is a big part of that wealth building process for you. Besides just, you know, getting another house and being able to enjoy it on that next level and having a bigger yard, and, you know, you're tired of being in the space that you're in because of COVID and so on. This is an investment, right? Like, you've been in this house, you've built up equity in that, and I want to make sure that we can preserve as much of that as we can to help you get into that next house, to make that step as easy as possible. So my main goal through this whole process, you know, through whatever I tell you, is going to be helping you build your own wealth and protect the wealth that you have. That is my number one goal. So everything that we're going to talk about going forward, just know that that is where I'm coming from. You know, if you decide to work with me, I am a very aggressive marketer. I will do, you can't, so marketing right now is a little bit different than it used to be, but you can't just put it on the MLS and hope that people come in and will see your property. Even though we're in a seller's market, we will get calls for that. But I want to go above and beyond that for you. I want to make sure that we get every single buyer in here that sees it as possible to get you the highest price. And, you know, putting it on the MLS is one thing, but going above and beyond that is another thing. The MLS now has a tool that allows me to see who has interested buyers in your home, who is, you know, looking for a home in that $1 million price range. That's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. With a view. I can see those matches. I'll actually go out and call them and talk to all of them and make sure that they know that your property is on the market, because things are selling so fast right now that, you know, if those agents aren't on top of their game and they're, you know, not looking at the MLS for a couple of days, they might miss the opportunity to see your house, because this house may sell in the next 5 days. So I'm going to reach out and call all of those agents who have that match and make sure that they see your house. Beyond that, I have a database of all the agents in this area that work in this area. They will get several emails from me to make sure that they see your listing as well. And the agents that I know that are the top of the game, they will get extra calls from me as well to make sure that they know that this property is listed. So there's about a dozen. I'm sure you know them. I'm sure you're probably interviewing them all. They will all get a call, personal call from me as well, to make sure that they're invited to come see this property. So, you know, besides that, we'll have a professional photographer. Probably we're going to do a drone shot, you know, of this house as well, because I think it'd be really cool with that view of the reservoir and so on. So we're really going to go above and beyond and make sure we market it and make sure the property looks amazing. After we sign the listing agreement, we can go through the property room by room, and I can give you suggestions of what I think will really maximize the value of the house, and it'll be up to you. There'll be some items that maybe will, you know, that will need a small repair or a small upgrade, and it's up to you to do what you want. But I will tell you through my experience, every little detail of things that I see that will help you maximize the value of your house. Because again, my only goal here is to help you make the most amount of money. You can decide if that's too much work, too little work, if you want to do it or not, but I'm going to at least let you know what those options are. And if you do need a painter or a handyman or those things, I'm happy to refer all of those people to you as well and help you get those appointments set up. So, you know, I don't want to stress you. I know you're super, super busy. I don't expect you to search for a handyman to, you know, replace a faucet or something like that. I'll help you with all of that. That's part of the service that I offer that a lot of realtors don't. So anything that we need to do to get the home prepared, I will be on your team. I'll help you make that happen. So don't stress about that. So any questions for me about, you know, my experience, my background? I mean, I know we know each other pretty well, and hopefully I'll get the opportunity to list this house for you, but anything that you want to know about me or anything I can do to make you feel more comfortable about using me to help, you know, help you move to that next step?
Not necessarily, no. We know each other, and I love your energy, and I think you would do a great job. You're always extremely buyer helpful and loyal. Nothing really, just weighing my options.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so all of you guys, any comments, questions, things that you would add, change
I have a
to
question.
this part? What else do you do? Yeah.
How did this listing presentation occur?
I don't know. I've been working with Natalie as a lender for 20 years, and she said, "Hey, Anthony, come sell my house or come interview, because I have 10 other realtors that I love, but you're one of them, so come sell it." So we know each other.
What would you say back to me when saying I'm weighing my options?
So we'll get to that. So we'll go through the price, and then basically I'll say what would it take, right, for you to decide to list with me at this moment, you know? And then if you're like, nothing, I don't know. I really don't know. I have not met with Kenya yet. I need to talk to Kenya. She's my good friend.
She's a buyer agent, honey. She's a buyer agent.
Kenya's too busy, honey. You don't want to work with her. So what I would do is, if there's nothing else that I could do at that moment, which a lot of times there's not, I would say, okay, all I would ask for is please give me the opportunity to meet with you one more time after you meet with Kenya. Because now she's going to know, oh, Kenya said, oh, at Compass, we have a staging program that will come in and we'll prepay for the staging of your home, blah, blah, blah. And Nata's like, I don't know. I don't want to pay for that, but I think I need to stage it. So I'm going to use Kenya. I'm like, okay, well, now I know what the objection is. I can decide if I want to match that or not. And now I can say, okay, Natalie, that's fine. I'll find a staging company for you as well. I'll also do that and include it as part of the commission. So instead of the 6% commission, it's 7%. And that's pretty much what Compass does as well, is you have to be reimbursed for those costs later. So I used this on a listing I went on a couple weeks ago, and I said the same thing. I said, if you want me to prepay or to make sure I set up the staging company for you, no problem, we could do that. The commission will be 7%. It'll come out at the end of listing and so on, and you won't have to worry about it. I'll take care of the staging for you. So if that's the objection, I know how to handle that, and I can definitely handle that. And there's some stagers that will say, okay, Anthony, just pay me 25% now and pay me the rest of the bill later. Or some say, pay me nothing now and pay me the rest of the bill when you close. And some will say, pay me all now. So it's now up to me to figure out how I can work that out. But there's always a way to do that. If that's the only way to get the listing is because of something like that, it's possible to do. So I would hate to have Kenya list Natalie's home if there was something I could have also offered and Natalie decided on Kenya just because of that one reason, even though I said something else that maybe would have helped her more because I was Realtor of the Year or whatever, because I'm at a boutique brokerage and not at a large company, Natalie would have preferred to work with me. So
That's true.
So, you never know what it is, right? And I want to know what those objections are after. So I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, just please promise me that we're able to have a meeting, a quick meeting after you meet with all the other realtors and have that last time to talk to see what they offered you. Because a lot of times they're going to offer things or say things that maybe we forgot about or passed over, or things that I can match as well. So, let's do that. And usually the sellers will agree to say, okay, no problem, let's meet again after.
So I have a question. Isn't the listing price like the most important thing for the seller in their mind? What you think it should be listed at?
Yes.
So let's say Kenya not only offers to do the staging, but also says, oh, we can list it at a higher price than what you are suggesting.
So I don't suggest a price.
You don't?
Do not suggest a price if they're meeting with other realtors. You don't do that to the very end.
Mm-hmm.
So the next step is reviewing comps, right? We can't really role play that without looking at the exact numbers and such, but we can definitely do that face to face, like you and I, Dimitri, if we want to go to a listing and look at comps for that area. And I'll give you a real hard time on getting my price versus what you think it should be sold at, and we could work through that. Like I've dealt with sellers for over an hour talking about price until we come down to that price. So the next section is we'll review all the comps, and I'll ask the seller, have you seen any of the properties that have sold? These are 5 that have sold in your neighborhood. And during COVID, most people are going to say no. And maybe you've seen some of them, maybe you haven't. So then it's talking about how the properties compare. Again, you don't want to offend the seller and say, oh, this one, just has the style is just so much better. Like, you have to be very careful with what you're saying. You really want to use the stats of the size. Price per square foot is a real easy one to use. How many years ago the bathroom was updated? How many years ago the kitchen was updated? The roof has issues. Things that you could put dollar points on. Just keep emotion out of this section. So nothing that's subjective, only objective items should be discussed when you're talking about what price to list the property for. So when you're having that conversation, making it very clear that the sold properties are true comps. That is what the appraiser is going to be comparing your property to. And you can always say too, like, well, in my experience, the appraiser would say that because your view is not as clear as their view, but that will affect the property's value to some level. Like, you don't have to say personally, but you can blame it on the appraiser, right? Or an appraiser would say, because you have one less bedroom, even though your square footage of your house is the same, the value will be different. So you can always blame an appraiser and kind of use what your experience is from how someone appraises a property to bring back to that seller. So again, keeping it objective, nothing that's subjective, because then the seller comes in and they're like, well, I think this is a beautiful kitchen. I spent blah, blah, blah on this. I spent $100,000 repairing this and that, so my house is worth more. Like, you don't want to get into those types of conversations. You want to keep it as dry as possible. And actives will come up. Well, I just saw the price, the home around the corner just came up for 100,000 more than that one sold for. Why would I price my house at something less than that? And again, making sure, actives are just actives. They're not sold. They're not comps. Appraisers are not looking at that. That if something is active, we don't know what it's going to sell for. If something's pending, we know that at the price it was at, it's in escrow, someone was interested, but we still don't know what price it's going to sell for. So making sure that they understand that. If something was listed at $1 million and it's pending, it might not close escrow for 900,000. We just don't know until it closes. So the solds are the most important. So reviewing comps and all that, that's a whole another conversation that we should really have one-on-one if you have issues with that. But like Zoe said, understanding comps is so important. And I will not say at the end of that conversation, okay, I think we should list it at 670. I say, when we sign our listing agreement, at that point, you will decide what price to list your home at. I'm giving you all the information and all the guidelines and all the comps of helping you to get to that point. But it's ultimately going to be up to you. If you want my advice at that point on a number, we can tell you. But you know, I definitely don't want you choosing Kenya over me based off of a price that Kenya says. That's irrelevant. The price is what's the true value of the house, and we'll get to that. And you are going to pick that. I'm not deciding what you're going to list your property for. You will decide. I'm happy to help you and guide you through that, but it's up to you to decide what price you list your home for. And I'll give you my feedback on what I think about that price. And even if I think it's priced too high and you want to list it at that price, I will still market aggressively and do everything I can to get it sold. And I'll always give you my honest opinion of what's happening and what the feedback is from anyone that comes in to view the property. So I try not to get into too many details about pricing of what it will list for. I always ask them before I start the pricing conversation, what do you think your home is worth? Before. And then after we do our comps, now that we've reviewed all of these comps, what do you think your home value is at this point? And they might say the same, they might say different, but you have to know what it is. And they'll say, well, I don't know. That's why I invited you over here. You say, okay, I understand. I'll give you my advice, but I'm just curious, you know, what you mentioned that it was worth $1 million before. Do you still think it's worth $1 million, or do you think it's maybe a little more, a little less? What do you think it is? And they're just like, I don't know.
Anthony, do you think it's important to also find out how much they still owe on the property so that you have an idea of what their proceeds would be?
Yeah, definitely you want to know that, right? Because then you know, like, are they breaking even? Are they losing money? But even if someone owns it outright, they still will fight you on the price and try to price it higher than you think the actual value is. And you have to remind them, you know, like, look, I'm here to protect your wealth. I want to sell it for as much as I can. The higher I sell this price for, the more my commission is. My commission is a percentage of the sales price. I'm incentivized as well to make sure that you get the highest price possible. That is truly my goal. And not just for that commission, but for our long-term relationship, so that I'm able to get referrals from you and help you down the road. The price is everything. And whatever that price is that we can get for you, I am incentivized on many levels to get you the highest price. So, you know, what price do you think that it should be listed at this point, in your opinion? And then they'll tell you that, okay, that's great. So I guess, you know, is there anything else you need to know from me at this point? You know, for us to decide to work together? I mean, I think for me at this point, I would love to sell your house. I know exactly the types of buyers who would come in to purchase this house. I love that your yard. I'm excited about, you know, talking to people about the view. I think your kitchen is really quaint. This neighborhood is so perfect. I mean, I really want to list this house for you. So, you know, please, let's talk again. Or she may say, okay, no, I mean, well, what's your commission? Okay, I said, then that's another conversation, right? That's kind of the last part, which they'll always ask. And I'll say, well, standard real estate commission is 6%. However, if I bring in a buyer and I'm actually able to represent a buyer and you at the same time, I'll reduce your commission to 4.5%. So it does happen sometimes. I do know a lot of buyers in this area, you know, because there's not open houses, I'm going to be doing a lot of outreach and, you know, marketing on my end through social media, that it's possible a buyer will come in and the commission will be reduced to 4.5%. Is that okay, Natalie?
All right, yeah, Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So half of the people will say that. And actually probably from, in my experience, more than half. And then you're done. You have your 6% commission and the 4.5. Some people may still fight and say, well, is it negotiable? You know, I met with Kenya yesterday and she said hers is 5%. She would never charge me more than 5%. And I would say, okay, that's fine. I'm like, Natalie, I would never, again, the commission is also something that you're able to choose. It's something that's split between the buyer and the seller, or the buyer's agent and the seller's agent. And I've done research and studies on commission that's offered since I've started in real estate for almost 20 years in different neighborhoods over time. And what I found is when you have a 6% commission and you're offering that 3% out versus 2.5% out, they typically sell for about 3 to 4% more, and they sell for less days on the market. So if I could get you 3 to 4% more money by offering that incentive of 3% commission versus 2.5%, you're going to net 2 or 3% more on your bottom line. So that's why I say commission is 6%, because that's what nets you the most amount of money. It's not because I'm a better realtor or I'm stuck on a number. That's just what works in my experience. And all these studies that I've done over the years is that you'll end up netting more money. And there's also another thing too with that's kind of interesting is where we don't have studies on, but I also believe it'll net you more money, because you see 2.5% commission versus 3% commission for a realtor, a buyer's agent, that's a 17% difference. A realtor will make 17% more income on a 3% listing versus a 2.5% listing. That's a lot of money. So that's an incentive to the realtor to choose your house over another, or to negotiate less to make sure that they get the 3% commission deal over a 2.5% commission deal. There's a lot of agents in our business who only do 1 or 2 deals a year. And that is a huge difference in their bottom line. So, you know, unfortunately that's the way that it is. It's an incentive. But that 3% commission will net you more money. Now, what I was saying about what there is no study on, what I believe will also net you more money, is when we do the request for repairs. So when we go through that process, besides negotiating your price, that's the first level of helping you, protect your wealth. The second part is repairs. So, an inspector is going to come in here just like when you did and you bought this house. They're going to look at the foundation, the plumbing issues, the roof, all of these things, and ask you to either repair or give a credit on some of these items. And at that point, the realtor has a huge influence on their client on what they should be asking for and what they shouldn't be asking for, how hard they should push to get credits, or how light they should push to get credits or repairs. Now, if a realtor is going to get 17% more commission on your house versus another, I believe that realtor also may push a little bit less to get higher credits or more repairs because they want this deal to close. So that's another reason why listing it at 6% versus 5% is going to help you net more money in the long run. So does that make sense, Natalie?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
totally.
Okay. So that's that. And
good to think about. Good things to think about.
Yeah. And again, it's up to you to do what you want. This is what I would recommend. And I'd say 95% of my clients will list it at this price. And I promise you that your net result will be higher for sure. So any other questions you have for me?
Yeah, I do have a question, Anthony. A couple questions. Number one, what do you think about these, what are they called? The pre-listing, before you go out to listing, you send out a pre-listing package. What do you think of that?
Yeah, so I always email my listing packet before I go. I used to, back in the day, deliver a hard copy one with a bottle of wine and put it there so that when I go to see them, especially for people that I don't know, that it's kind of like a warm call. But I feel like I haven't done that for a while because a lot of the leads I've been getting are through my farm, and they're either people I know really well or they're people who don't live in the unit. They're non-owner occupied sellers, and I have nowhere to drop that off to because they don't live in the unit. So I email it to them. But yeah, you could drop off a package for sure. I would do that because in our listing presentation, it has all the marketing tools we're doing. It talks about international marketing. It talks about, not pricing it too high. It has your bio. It has everything that you don't want to spend too much time talking about in person. Some people will want to read that page for page, and they will if you drop it off. Other people don't care, and they're not going to read it. But you should give everyone the opportunity to, just in case. So I strongly believe giving them something ahead of time that talks about you and your marketing and selling yourself before you even get there. So yes, but you can also put in comps, right? Comps in that package, so they can look at that ahead of time.
Oh, okay. And then the next question is when they're interviewing other agents. Of course, I like your strategy a lot. Are you saying that you don't talk about price or commission too much until you come back on the next visit after they spoke to the other agent?
Oh yeah, we will not lock on a price or finalize. Okay, I think we should list it at 670. No. But commission usually will come up that first time because they want to compare it to everyone else and see why. So you'll have to talk about commission. Yeah. And that's okay. I'm fine with that. I have no problem talking about commission.
Okay.
So then after we get through that, then I'll say, okay, so, here are the next steps. You're going to interview your people, and we'll meet again, next week after you've met with everyone. And then hopefully you'll decide to work with me at that point. We'll go through the house and we'll tour every room, and I'll give you ideas of what could be done to improve the value, and it's up to you to do what you want. And again, I'll help you set up all those vendors to get any of that work done to make it ready. We'll also talk about staging, decluttering, any of those types of items as well to prepare the home to sell, and go through all of that. We'll set up a time for a photographer and the time of when you're ready to list it. We'll talk about showings and COVID rules and all that kind of stuff. And we'll put it on the market and go from there and get ready to get you into that next house. So notice that I did not go through the rooms at the beginning, right? And say, oh, they might ask you, what should I do with this room? Do you think I should get rid of that chair? Or do you think I should, do you think the lights are okay? Don't answer those questions. Don't give up this value yet, because that you have to sell yourself to a point where they want that info from you, but you cannot get it until they sign a listing agreement. Because otherwise they're going to talk to 10 realtors, get the same info or different info. Maybe you said something that they didn't like, and now they chose Kenya over you because you said, oh, you think you need to put recessed lighting in. And they're like, absolutely not. Why do they think I need recessed lighting? I've never had that in my life. This is a bright room and they told me I need recessed lighting, and it becomes personal. So you don't want to tell them what to do during that listing presentation. They will ask. They will definitely ask. And just assure them, they say, we will go through everything, all of those ideas, and I'll help you get vendors to do it. And it'll be up to you to do what you want. And I'll help you that after we sign a listing agreement. But right now, I just want to make sure that you get to know me, how I'm going to sell your house, make sure you trust me that I'm the right realtor for you. And then we'll go through all of that stuff later. So rest assured that will all be taken care of. That's something I love to do. I'm really good at it. And we'll go through that later. So not now. Sorry, Natalie. Any other comments, questions? Okay, so it's going to be more and more important, and we'll keep talking about this, to have a list of vendors, right? Of who you like. If you needed a painter today, who would you use? You got to have one. If you needed somebody that could fix a plumbing issue, who is that? We have a vendor book here of vendors that we've used in an office that you can refer to. And please, if you do use vendors that you like, give them to Marshall, and let's continue adding to that list. You should have your own, but we should also continue to add to the office one, and continue to do that, because that resource I've really learned is so important to buyers and sellers, knowing that you're going to be able to help them get through those repairs that are needed and take that stress off of them.
Anthony, I have a quick question for you. How does that pose in terms of a liability perspective in presenting like a repairman, a painter, or something like that? I know historically in real estate, they've always said to present 3 of each vendor so that you don't hold the liability. How does that stand in your situation here?
Yeah, I mean, ideally you should have a couple people for them to talk to, but sometimes we only have one that's really good and you know is the best price. So you're not telling them to use them, right? But you're just saying, this is someone I've used in the past and they've been good. You know, take a look at them. If you'd like to use them, that would be great. But you have the opportunity to use anyone you want. This is just someone that I've used in the past. So it's not like we're lining up work for them to do. We're just presenting them with options. And if you have a couple options, that's great. And you could kind of explain the difference of the people. But yeah, you're right. You don't want to tell people like, hey, this is the painter you're going to use. This is that. You want to present it in the way where they have a choice, but you're saying this is someone I've used in the past that has been great, that you might want to consider. And it's up to them to decide. They're hiring them, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Good point.
They're picking the paint code.
Yes. Oh, and definitely you paint codes, you should have ideas of what colors will work. I have my grays that work. I know what needs to be painted white, what needs to be painted semi-gloss, what needs to be painted matte. You have to know all of these design elements now as a realtor to stand out and help a seller, because otherwise they're going to paint the room like what happened on my last listing. Oh my gosh. They painted the place. They didn't tell me they were going to paint it, but they painted it like this ugly off-white with like this yellow tint to it that made the place look even more dated than it was. So they think it's good. They're older. They're like, oh, that's what I've always used for all my properties forever. Well, right now in West Hollywood, that's not going to work. That's going to make it a little more difficult. So understanding what paint colors you want to use for what areas, you need to know that. You really need to know that, or you need to have a painter that knows that and could recommend that to you. Because the service that we're offering our clients now is not about putting a home on an MLS or searching for homes. It's the service we give them before they sell the house, during the process, and after. And a lot of this has to do with all of these vendors that are going to do stuff to make sure that we're protecting their wealth and helping them build wealth to the highest level. So all of this comes into play. So Lori, like, I love that you like walking through homes and seeing it, but because you have this art background, actually this part might be really exciting for you, because you're going to be able to kind of see a room and create like what it could look like. And over time, you'll know how much that costs, and you'll be able to help them stage and set things up a little differently. Most properties where people are living in, we don't have them stage it, right, moving out. But if it's vacant, that would be a great idea. It's definitely worth it. But decluttering and moving things around, and like Karen's really good at that too, and helping people prepare the home to be visually appealing, you know, to sell. So that kind of creative stuff is part of our business. But as you see in this listing presentation, it's very different personalities. You've got to be creative and have that sense of that creativity, but you also have to be a business person and negotiate and fight for that commission and that price. Those are two very different people. So no one's going to be great at both of them, and it's okay. Whatever one you're weak at, those are things that we should practice together and role play and work on those skills, because nobody expects you to be good at all of them. But in this market, you have to be good at them both. So find out what your weakness is and let's work on building that up, you know, to a high level. Or like some agents have, you're always welcome to bring me in to a listing appointment as well, where it's still your listing, but I'm happy to help you negotiate or be the bad guy or, whatever on the side to help you get that deal. So anytime.
I'm so sorry, you guys. I have to run. I'm so
Hi,
sorry.
Natalie. Thank you so much. Yeah, we went over today. I'm busy.
See you guys soon. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Anything else on this? And again, I mean, I hope this is a good overview and kind of like gives you a feel of how to get through that process, but let's do it one-on-one. Let's go to one of my vacant listings. I have 2 of them, and we'll role play the whole situation through, and I'll be real hard and challenge you and just keep working through it so that you learn, and you go through that experience and grow. It doesn't matter if you've been in the business for a year or 10 years, like we can all help each other,
Anthony, don't some listing presentations also depend upon the person that you're meeting with? Like if someone is an engineer who wants figures and dollars and numbers and statistics versus someone who's a graphic artist who wants touchy-feely stuff, isn't that part of it as well, to be able to size up who you're talking to and talk to them in the language that they relate to?
Yeah, absolutely. Like social intelligence, right? Just understanding who you're talking to is key in this business, no matter what, especially on a listing presentation.
Mhm.
So that's also a skill that you build over time. But understanding who they are, looking them up on Facebook if you don't know them, or LinkedIn, and understanding their job will help kind of guide you as well as to how to do that. And you'll know right away once you talk to them on the phone, or once you sit down in their living room, if they're a real detail oriented person, or if they're just like negotiate or fight for their price. You're going to know, and you're going to have to kind of adapt to either one. And a lot of times, we don't always get all the listings we go on, but when you work with people who who are like you, it's a lot easier to get those listings. That's why database to me is the #1 way to build your business, because it's the easiest way, because those are people who know you and like you and who you have most things in common with. If you're doing it just through farming or just through probate attorneys and so on, you never know who you're dealing with, and that personality might be a complete opposite of yours. You have to be that much more on top of your game to get that listing to make that match work. So that's why I push database, meet people that that you like, because it makes your business so much easier. And you don't have to go on 5 listing appointments to get one. Basically people say, come list my house, tell me what we should list it for. Usually that's what will happen with your database, is like, well, what price? You tell me. And then they might try to negotiate a little bit, but it's pretty simple. The commission part, also a little negotiation, but pretty simple. They just want to know the process and it's done. So when you're working with your database, not having to go up against 10 realtors is very likely. And it's such a pleasure to do business that way, because then you can really focus on helping them build wealth and not worrying about fighting for the listing, and protecting yourself. So yeah. Well, I hope this was helpful. I did record it and we'll put it on our YouTube. So in case you want to look at it back, but then please, let's do it one-on-one. I'm happy to do that anytime. Public policy meetings today at 1, seller seminar next week. So get people to that seller seminar. That is going to be the best thing you can do for the next week. Just call people, let people know prices are at their high point. We don't know where they're going. But if you're considering selling in the next year, pop onto this call. It's going to be a really great overview of all the questions that sellers have before they sell. Does anyone have anything else to say today?
Thanks so much, Anthony. This was really interesting. I really had a good time.
Oh, good. So glad to have you, Lori. Anyone else? Anything today?